Hello, guys, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. We're back again. Sorry for the earlier stream. We did start a stream about half an hour ago, but it was ended early due to just some accident. The stream was ended early, so our apologies for that. We're back to normal. The stream should be smooth. I think Jordan's fixed his issues with his audio as well, so we should be back to normal. But yeah, apologies again. But yeah, Jordan, how you doing? You good to go?
Yeah, all good to go, and fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed the stream is fine. But yeah, welcome back, everyone. This is the transfer tips video for Blank Gameweek 32, the buy, sell, hold, ignore series. And yeah, without further ado, let's get started in this video. So yeah, let's start with Trent. Trent is the first buy, Trent Alexander-Arnold for Game Week 32. So yeah, we've put Trent on this list due to his performance last night. For those that didn't watch the game against Leeds, he did pick up 2 assists, one for Gakpo with a cutback, and then another one over the top dink to Darwin Núñez. So yeah, Trent also picked up an assist last weekend against Arsenal in that 2-2 draw when he nutmegged Zinchenko, put it to the back post for Firmino to head in. So that's now 3 assists in his last 2 games. He's got Nottingham Forest at Anfield coming up next, which is a nice fixture. West Ham, which is a pretty nice game. Then a double against Tottenham and Fulham, both at home. Then Brentford and then Leicester as well. So Liverpool's fixtures do look pretty nice on paper. They are picking up a bit of goal-scoring form. Whether they can keep it up, we'll see, because they've had big results against Man United and then lost to Bournemouth. So are they going to go lose against Forest? We don't know. So, but look, I think Trent is going to be popular on a free hit team. I think everyone on a free hit is going to have him. And, ownership just above 20%. I think he's a good buy. Jordan, what's your take on Trent? Are you bringing him in? What's in terms of the next 5 for Liverpool? How do you think he performed as well yesterday? What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, he performed really well in his new position that Klopp has placed him in, because obviously he didn't play as his normal right back position. He played a more forward role, and he looked so much better in that role. I don't know why Klopp didn't think of this way earlier in obviously the season, to play Trent in this position, because he thrives in that position, as we saw in that game, getting the assist. And with 5 assists, that could easily build up towards that double game week. And I think for me, I'll be wildcarding personally in double game week 34. And Trent is definitely on the cards for me in bringing him into my team, because I think he'll be a great, as a defensive option in FPL, a great player to bring in, especially for that double 2 home fixtures. Tottenham losing to Bournemouth 3-2, and obviously Fulham struggling without Mitrovic as well. If Liverpool can keep up the form, as we saw last night against Leeds, Trent should definitely be a buy to consider in one of your defensive positions in your team. Yeah,
I agree with those points. Also, obviously, Trent is now playing an inverted right-back role. He's having more touches on the ball. I think he had over 120 touches of the ball last night. So yeah, a lot more involved, and it's good to see that he's been put in this position now where it allows his attacking ability to be shown rather than his defensive frailties that we've seen this season. Moving on to the second player that we recommend you buy ahead of Blank Game Week 32, and that is none other than Mohamed Salah. So Salah again scores 2 last night. 1 goal with a lovely quick first touch finish, and then another one he called it past Meslier as well. So Salah now, that is 15 goals, 7 assists. So he's closing down now on Tony. He's just drawn with Rashford, just above Martinelli and Saka. So we know Salah hasn't been at his best form this season in terms of even goals, but he's slowly now creeping up. And with 8 games left with nice fixtures on paper, Salah should hit 20 goals, you'd say now. He should get at least 5 goals in the next 8 fixtures. I'd expect that from Salah. But yeah, 12.8 million. His ownership will rise. I think he's a captaincy option for game week 32 for me. He probably will be my captain. Again, similar to Trent, nice fixtures in that double game week 34. And then 35, 36, and 33, also some nice fixtures against West Ham, Brentford, and Leicester. He's on penalties, I believe, still. He should be on penalties. I don't think Klopp will take him off after his 2 penalty misses. And yeah, look, Salah's nailed. Jota's now coming to the team. Diaz got some minutes last night. Gakpo started. Nunes was on the bench. But Salah's the one player out of that front line that is going to play every game, assuming he's fit. So yeah, Salah's going to be in the team free hit for sure. That's locked. And I think even if you don't on a free hit, you should be looking at Salah potentially bringing him in. What's your thoughts on it anyway?
Yeah, I think with the returns of players like Jota, for example, that started in the Leeds game last night, we see a much better difference in terms of Salah's performances. He's familiar with Jota. He plays with Jota, like Diaz as well. He came on for a few minutes, and these players are important, I think, for Salah because these players know how to play with him. Obviously, with Gakpo, it's a bit different, obviously, because he's just new to the team. But obviously, over time, he will get that connection with Salah more better. But with these players like Jota, for example, it just creates more chances for Salah to score, I think, and for these other players that have played with Salah in Liverpool that have been out injured. And that makes him more of an attractive option, an asset now for Salah, especially in that double game week in 34, to be brought in, obviously, as a captaincy pick as well for that double. It will be a tough one to call, obviously, in that double game at 34 and who you captain. But Salah is definitely showing that he can be one of those options to captain and potentially do well in that double, equalising on these 15 goals and 7 assists, which doesn't feel like Salah has managed to do that this season, considering how Liverpool have played. But if Liverpool keep the form up and Salah keeps scoring all the way leading up to the double game week, then he obviously is definitely a buy you should consider bringing in and potentially captaining.
Mm-hmm. Let's move on to some players that we think you should be looking to sell. And the first one up on the list, and that is Marcus Rashford. We know Rashford didn't play in the 2-0 win against Nottingham Forest in game week 31. He has a blank game week in game week 32. And then in game week 33, he has Spurs, which he actually may not be fit for. We don't know at this moment in time. So he's a sell, assuming he misses out, in game week 33 as well. If he does, he could be an easy sell. But the only reason why you'd look to hold Rashford, I say, is if we get news from Ten Hag. If Ten Hag comes out and says he's going to be fit for Tottenham, then I think he becomes a hold. But for now, with the information we currently have, that assuming he's injured for Tottenham and even the double potentially, he's an easy sell. But if he, like I said, if he is fit for that double, I definitely want him against Villa and Brighton. But yeah, I'm not going to spend too long on Rashford. I don't think it literally the information we have right now is that he's injured. And if you hear from Ten Hag and press conferences, then obviously you keep him. But yeah, 15 goals as well from him. So he's having a good season as well individually. And look, Man United players are going to be popular potentially in game week 34 when they've got Villa and Brighton, especially if Rashford is fit, along with Bruno Fernandes is going to be a popular pick as well. But yeah, for now, assuming he's missing out in those fixtures, he is a sell. What's your views? Obviously, you've already sold him, haven't you?
I did, yes, I did sell Rashford for my team last game week when I heard about the injury news about his groin. And yeah, it's basically a wait and see for Rashford. Obviously, when we hear more news and updates on his condition, whether he plays, obviously in that Tottenham game, game week 33, I think Ten Hag has said that he will play maybe in the Sevilla game in the second leg. So we have to obviously see how he does in that game as well, considering of that injury. And yeah, pretty much for now, Rashford's a sell until we know further information about his situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's move on to another player that we think you should be looking to sell. And this one's maybe slightly easier as a sell. And that is Ben Chilwell, who I actually have in my team currently. He's probably going to go. Obviously, I'm free hitting, so he's not going to be in my free hit. Obviously, he has a blank game week in 32. But then after that, he's got Brentford, he's got Arsenal, who aren't going to be easy games. Then, it gets a bit easier with Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest. But I would be avoiding Chilwell, I think, especially at his price tag, 5.9 million. You look at players around that price tag. I know Trent's a bit more expensive, but Chilwell to Trent is an obvious move for me. If you've got Chilwell, you can get up to Trent. Easy move. Trent has a double in 34 when Chilwell has Arsenal. So that's a no-brainer. I think Chilwell owners have been a bit unlucky. He maybe should have had a goal or an assist in those games leading up to game week 32. I thought he was Chelsea's better player, but it wasn't to be. But yeah, for me, he's an easy sell to someone like a Trent Alexander-Arnold if you don't have him already. So yeah, Chilwell for me is a sell, and with that blank game week just makes it easier. Would you agree, Jordan?
Yeah, I think definitely with Chelsea assets, Chilwell being one of them, I think he can be a sell just because of with. I say Chilwell is a bit unfortunate in the Aston Villa game where he did get a header and scored, but pushed Ashley Young in the process, which disallowed him the goal. So it might have changed the current situation where we're now considering selling Chilwell. But if he had scored that goal and it counted, maybe we would have thought differently. But again, Chelsea are still struggling. They're not keeping clean sheets really, and they're still not really scoring. And it's not looking too great for Chelsea assets still. And we can definitely say with Chilwell can be a sell, and obviously a better player like Trent becomes an option at a more expensive price than Chilwell, even though he's 5.9 million. I don't think it's still worth bringing someone in like Chilwell with only 2 goals and 2 assists this season, and Chelsea not having the greatest of a season so far.
Let's move on to some players that we think you should be looking to hold on to for game week 32, blank game week 32. Now, Tony has been sold by a few managers, and we know he actually plays in that game week 32 fixture. He has Aston Villa at home. Now, we know Aston Villa are playing brilliantly right now under Emery, and Watkins is on fire. But Brentford are actually stronger at home than they are away. I think Brentford have only lost 2 games at home all season. So they are stronger at home. 18 goals for Tony, which is, I think, he's the third highest scorer in the league. So, he's still getting goals. Expected goals per 90, 0.63, which is respectable as well. Aston Villa at home isn't that bad of a fixture, I don't think. Even though, like I said, Villa have been in hot form, I still think Tony can score. He's on penalties as well, so if he gets a penalty, we know he's going to take. And the fact is that there's not many forwards that you'd want to choose. There's Watkins, there's probably like a Darwin Núñez if you want to take that risk with his minutes. But if you've got other issues to fix in your team, I don't see why you'd want to take Tony out when he actually has a fixture in game week 32. You'd rather just play him against Villa and hope he does something, because if you're going to have to take hits potentially to bring in other players, and Tony has a fixture, so I wouldn't be removing him especially if you've not got a free hit. You just keep him. And even on a free hit, like for example, I'm going to be free hitting in game week 32. And as of now, Tony is actually in my free hit team. So I think he's an easy hold for sure. What's your view on it, Jordan?
Yeah, I was quite surprised that Tony became a massive transfer out player for this game week coming up for Aston Villa. I know Aston Villa have been pretty good this season, but I don't think it's necessary to transfer out Tony just because maybe of the fixture that Brentford have, but obviously maybe because Tony blanked last game week. I still think that holding on to Tony is probably the best thing you can do, especially with a fixture in 32, where a lot of teams, or a few teams, do blank in that game week. So whoever you're replacing Tony with, I'll still want to keep him in the team. I've still got Tony in my team, and with 18 goals and 4 assists and one of the top returners in FPL in terms of forwards, I still think he's a good pick for the fixtures. I mean, after Aston Villa, he's got Chelsea away, and I know Brentford are not great away, but Chelsea haven't been great either, home or away, and that gives Tony another chance to equalise on his 18 goals and his 4 assists. So even though the fixtures are a bit of a pattern of difficulty and easy, I still think in between these fixtures, Tony can still return goals and assists.
Yeah, Tony's still going to be on a lot of free hit teams, which shows that there's not as many options as we like to hope for. And obviously, Darwin getting benched makes it slightly more difficult. I think Jesus is one where you could go to Jesus on a free hit, but then you might want triple Arsenal midfield as well. Let's move on to another player that we think you should hold on to, and that is actually Saka, Bukayo Saka. Now, Saka has been transferred out by some managers as well, so that's why we thought we'd include him in this list. Now, he actually has a fixture against Southampton at home, which on paper looks very, very nice. Arsenal are pretty strong, pretty formidable at home. Saka does have 12 goals and 10 assists for the season, so double-digit goals and assists. He did have a pretty poor game against West Ham, obviously missing the penalty, but his overall game, I thought he did struggle to get involved. And even against Liverpool, I didn't think he had the best of games. So maybe a lot of managers are now looking at it thinking, he's got a few blanks in a row. Do we take Saka out? But I would still hold him. I still think he's a good, especially at home against Southampton, who are struggling at the bottom. I would be scared of getting rid of Saka, even though he hasn't returned in his last few games. After game week 32, the different conversation, with City coming up, Chelsea, Newcastle, and Brighton, I would be getting rid of Saka. But for that 1 week against Southampton, when he's got a fixture, look, I wouldn't be getting rid of him. So yeah, I think he's an easy hold. Would you agree, Jordan?
Yeah, definitely. I think this kind of reminds me of when I got rid of Martinelli when he was considered a hold, when he had that many rounds of blanks in game weeks. I think this is a similar situation to Saka, where I think holding on to Saka is probably the better idea, despite his blanks and his off form in the last 2 games. That Southampton at home fixture, you can really see Saka doing something in that game, and especially with Arsenal drawing now in the last 2 matches, this is a must-win for Arsenal if they are to stay in the title race against Man City. They can't afford to lose anymore now, really. And with Man City in game week 33, that's going to be probably potentially the title winner, depending on who wins that match, if it is to be a winner. And yeah, these are important games that Arsenal now need to win, and for them to win, they need to score goals. And you can obviously see them coming from Saka as one of them, and definitely not at this moment in time would I be selling Saka. I'd definitely be holding him.
Yeah, especially with Southampton coming up.
Especially with Southampton as well, that struggled through the season, and it's a fixture in 32 as well. He doesn't blank Arsenal.
Yeah, I agree. I would be holding him for sure. Let's move on to some players that we think you could be looking to ignore, and these are players that managers are probably bringing in. Might be controversial because Ben White has picked up some goals and assists since a lot of managers have decided to sell him in recent weeks, but he's got Southampton next, and you could see it as a clean sheet here for Arsenal. Maybe even an assist, because he has got 4 assists, Ben White. To be fair to him, 4.9 million, so he is cheap to include. But for me, I would be rather going triple Arsenal attack. For example, I'd be picking out 3 of Jesus, Martinelli, Saka, and Odegaard. So I'd rather have 3 of those rather than having an Arsenal defense. We've seen in recent weeks, Arsenal have been looking a bit more shaky at the back, conceding a lot more goals. They've just conceded 2 to West Ham, conceded 2 to Liverpool. So they're not keeping as many clean sheets as we'd hope for. And I think even if I was going for an Arsenal defender, I'd rather someone like a Gabriel over a Ben White personally, just due to goal threat, even though obviously Ben White does have 2 goals, 4 assists. So I think Ben White's an ignore because I'd rather have the Arsenal attack ahead of an Arsenal defender, because I don't see many clean sheets going forward. If you're on a free hit, maybe he could make sense as a free hit. But in terms of a transfer, I would be avoiding Arsenal defenders all together, to be fair. But yeah, what's your take on it, Jordan? You could get a clean sheet against Southampton, but the Arsenal attack triple up, which you have, looks quite nice as well.
Yeah, I mean, for my position, I can't really get Ben White as I have 3 attacking Arsenal midfielders. And I think Ben White really is only good for the Southampton at home game. So I wouldn't even really bother bringing in an Arsenal defender, because can you really see a clean sheet after Southampton when they have really tough fixtures for Arsenal, even though Ben White has shown more attacking threat and getting those assists in previous game weeks? I still think without that, there's no clean sheet potential after Southampton games. So unless you already have Ben White, I wouldn't really think about bringing him in as one of your Arsenal players.
Yeah, I agree there. Moving on to the final player and another ignore, and that is actually Jack Grealish. Now, a lot of managers bought Jack Grealish in ahead of his game against Leicester, where he did get an assist. But yeah, Jack Grealish is an ignore for this week because he doesn't have a fixture in game week 32. And then in game week 33, he has Arsenal. Now that, whether you think he's a good pick against Arsenal, he could be. But there is also the slight news that Foden is now back in training. So Foden will travel tomorrow night in the Champions League. So he should be on the bench potentially. Maybe that does change Grealish in terms of the rotation risk. Maybe not rotation risk, because I expect the way Grealish is playing right now is absolutely brilliant. So maybe a minute's risk. So if Man City are 2-3-0 up and they're cruising, maybe Grealish comes off for Foden. Obviously, Foden's now back. So that's one thing to keep an eye out on. That could mean bad news for Mahrez as well, because we don't know with Pep. Grealish does seem to have nailed down that left side role. But look, blank fixture, you can ignore him. There's no point bringing him in now. If you're going to bring him in, game week 34 is when I'd be looking to bring him in for that double game week against Fulham and West Ham. Against Arsenal, he could still return well, but I I think he's an easy ignore with no fixture, but I still like Grealish for that double. If we never know with Pep. Is he going to play Grealish? He might drop him for one game, decide to play Mahrez and Foden or whatever. But with the form, you'd hope that he carries on with Grealish. So let's quickly recap, and then we'll take some questions from the comments. The players that we've selected for you guys ahead of Game Week 30, Blank Game Week 32. So you should be looking to buy Trent Alexander-Arnold and Mo Salah. You should sell Rashford and Ben Chilwell. You should hold on to Tony and Saka, and you should ignore Ben White and Jack Grealish. So those are the 8 players we've selected. Let us know in the comments what you guys think of our suggestions. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Please let us know. We love hearing from you guys. So yeah. Also, make sure if you are enjoying the content, make sure you do smash that like button, and also make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. Let's get to the comments now and read out a few. And take a few questions from Damien. So evening, gents. Evening, Damien.
Evening, Damien.
Ali Mac says, is Trent worth a -4 if you have Salah already? I'll let you take this one, Jordan.
Yeah, I think Trent's worth a -4 because by the time he plays in double game at 34, you probably would have made up for that -4 having him now. I'd say I think earlier the better for Trent because as long as Liverpool can keep up the form they did against Leeds last night, then I don't see why Trent wouldn't be worth a -4 right now because he is showing that he is definitely worth taking a hit for, especially with the way Klopp's playing him in that position now, more further up in the midfield. He's looking even more better than what he was in the right back position.
Yeah, I think he could be worth a -4. It'll be tempting for me. I may decide to do it because if you want him for the game week 34, you'd rather just do it now and have him for a blank as well. So yeah, if you're gonna have him long term, it makes sense. Miles says Salah big captain. Yeah, I think Salah against Nottingham Forest at home in game week 32 when Haaland doesn't have a fixture, when Brighton don't have a fixture, when Man United don't have a fixture, he could be one that we go for. I don't know if you've thought of who you're going to go captain, Jordan, this week. There's not really a massive standout. I mean, Salah looks like he could be a very popular captaincy option this week.
Probably Saka or maybe Martinelli. One of the Arsenal or Jesus, because they do have Southampton at home.
Yeah, you could go Arsenal. Obviously, they have a brilliant fixture as well. But obviously, getting the right one, the one who's going to score, maybe is going to be hard to pick because the one day, as we know, any of them can score. So yeah, Arsenal definitely could be a good captain option as well. But I think I'm going to be on Salah this week. Early team news for me. Damien said, I think these two are the only options worth investing in. I think he's talking about Salah and Trent. Evening all, best third Liverpool option. Assuming Salah and Trent are the first two, who for you is the best third pick?
I'll probably say Gakpo, if I'm honest. I think Gakpo would be a decent third pick because he does sometimes get the odd assist, maybe potentially score as well. So yeah, it could work in.
Yeah, he scored. I mean, he got the assist, didn't he, for Salah, and he got a goal as well for Trent's cutback. I mean, spoiler alert, he is my third Liverpool option right now. Gakpo. I'm on Gakpo on my free hit team. So I'll go into why I've chosen Gakpo in my team selection in detail. But yeah, I do like Gakpo, and I think he will be nailed to play against Forest. I don't see Darwin getting in yet. Still, I think Gakpo brings something different. He brings that link-up play, and Darwin is more direct. Gakpo likes to interchange, pass to Salah, Jota. He's a bit like, it reminds me a bit of the old Firmino, linking up play, dropping deep, getting into the pockets. And yeah, I think he's a good player for Liverpool, and he's only getting now into his rhythm. I think he's looking good, and I think he's probably going to be the one I go with. I think Jota is also a good pick. It's quite close for me. I think Jota did score as well twice last night. I think that's his first goals for Liverpool since April 2022, so in over a year. So yeah, with Jota and Gakpo, you'll have to decide. But I'm on Gakpo right now. Don't want to say I told you so. But like I said, Liverpool didn't concede in the first half. Then scoreline could read 4-0. Bruno to Salah move worked out fine. Yeah, well done for those that did go Salah. I do regret not going Salah in game week 29. I think that's when I initially planned to get Salah in. But look, not much I could do about it now. But yeah, well done for bringing Salah in because he's definitely paid off for that Bruno move. Obviously, Bruno blanking yet again. I think the free hit team. Yeah, we'll have our free hit, or I'll show you guys my free hit team on Thursday. So if you want to watch that, make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. We're going to go live Thursday, 7 p.m. UK time, as always, to bring you guys our team selection. What's your opinion on Kane this week, Haas? Is Harry on your free hit? So as you guys will see, he actually not on my free hit draft right now. I'm not sure on Harry Kane, if I'm being honest. I know Newcastle is a tough fixture, but they've just conceded 3 goals to Aston Villa. So it is a bit of a weird situation with Harry Kane. No, he's not on my free hit. Spurs don't look great. And I know Harry Kane still scores regardless, usually, even though Spurs aren't playing well right now. But I think it comes down to captaincy. For me, I'm going to captain Salah. So he's priority for me ahead of Harry Kane. Obviously, Harry Kane's quite a lot of money. So look, if you're going to captain Harry Kane against Newcastle, then yeah, you might want to bring him in. But I like players like Jesus, Salah, Trent, a lot of budget they're going to take up. So it's going to be hard for me to fit Harry Kane in, especially if I want triple Arsenal attack as well. So for me, I'm probably going to go without Harry Kane, which I know might surprise a few. What's your thoughts on Harry Kane anyway, Jordan? Because he's still scoring, but Newcastle, apart from that performance last weekend when they got smashed 3-0, Newcastle have been very strong defensively.
Yeah, there's a lot to play for between Newcastle and Tottenham because I believe Tottenham are 5th in the table and Newcastle are currently 4th. So this game is actually really massive for both teams in terms of who gets the 3 points and who goes on top of who, and who obviously gets potentially that top 4. So I'll say Kane this week could be a really decent option for those on the free hit. I mean, for me personally, as part of my plan, I am going to have Harry Kane in my team. I think for this game week, just because I have a funny suspicion that could potentially be a high scoring match, I believe, against Newcastle.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. So yeah, Harry Kane, obviously, we know he still keeps returning. Like he gets the odd goal and finds a way to get on the score sheet. Salah captain 100%. Southampton held Man United to 0-0. And Damien says, if Rashford is not fit for game week 34, if you still have him, would upgrade to Fernandes. Yeah, look, if Rashford is not fit for 34, then yeah, he's an easy sell. Of course, you can go up to someone like Bruno if you can afford it. If you can't, someone like a punt on Anthony. Potentially, Anthony getting a goal and an assist in his last game. If you want to be different, if you're chasing rank, I think Anthony could be a decent pick. Maybe even a Sancho if he's going to play in those doubles. But that's obviously if you are chasing. But yeah, I think we are going to wrap it up here. It's just been a quick video, transfer tips video as usual on a game week 32. Blank game week 32. We'll be back Thursday, as I mentioned, for the team selection, and then it is a Friday deadline this week. So make sure you guys don't forget Friday deadline stream. And yeah, what time is it though? Is it 6:30 on a Friday? Yeah. So we'll be here 5:30 p.m. UK time. So make sure you do join us for the deadline stream where we lock in our last minute free hit teams for me. And also, yeah, that's pretty much it from us. Not really else to. I don't know if I left anything out. I just got to say, if you are just joining in, welcome El Padrino. Evening to you. Make sure you are subscribed. As always, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you share the video on your socials, as always, if you can, because it really helps the channel be, just grown more and be seen more on YouTube, etc., with the algorithm and how it works. But yeah, thank you, El Padrino, obviously courtesy of Jordan, the graphics.
Thank you, Padrino.
But yeah, I think that's it, Jordan. Anything else you'd like to add?
That pretty much wraps it up, I think, until obviously the team selection on Thursday, where we get into some more juicy content on what our plans are, obviously our teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And that's it from us. Take care, guys, and see you guys Thursday. But yeah, peace out, and let's take this off actually. Yep. Peace out, and have a good one, and speak to you guys soon.